tell you something about South Africa. This country isn't run by laws. It's by who can bribe the fastest. You think justice is coming? Wake up, buddy. The Zanzou incident is a brutal, disgusting display of power, and I guarantee you, those responsible will never see the inside of a prison cell. Well, not in our lifetime, because while you're sitting here outraged, thinking the police can handle it, they are already shaking hands with the same criminals they are actually supposed to be arresting. You want to know how I know? Because this is South Africa, my friend, where your money talks and your morals walk. Let's break it down. This whole Zanzou Nightclub disaster in Pretoria is just another reminder that South Africa's justice system is a joke, a bad joke, like a Trevor Noah Netflix special but without the fake laughs. So let me break it down real simple so that even the slowest person watching can understand this. A bunch of rich, untouchable wannabe mob bosses in Pretoria run this fancy nightclub called Zanza, right? But guess what? Instead of just overcharging you for cheap vodka and playing Amapiano on repeat, they decided to go full GTA 5 nightclub villain mode. So some dudes walk in, probably thinking they're about to have a good time, right? Maybe get a little action, flex their new haircut, reese some ladies. Wrong! They end up getting tortured, beaten, tied up, humiliated, and brace yourself, forced to do things you only see in crime documentaries. And instead of security breaking up the fights, they were actually the ones doing the damage. Big, bulky bodyguards, probably ex-bouncers from some hillbow strip club, decided to take out their midlife crisis on these poor dudes. Videos leaked, and trust me, you don't want to see them unless you like rage quitting in real life. I wanted to show them, but I don't think YouTube will allow me to do that. Just imagine this. There you are sitting on your overpriced drink, and then suddenly, the bouncers who look like they bench press minibus taxis for fun decide it's time for SmackDown. But this time it's not WWE. It's supposed to be a chill night out, and all of a sudden videos are now popping up online of you getting the snot beaten out of you, stripped down to your birthday suits, and treated worse than a stolen shopping trolley at ShopRite. So basically, the tranquility of Pretoria was shattered when graphic videos began circulating on social media, revealing the horrifying events that transpired within the Zanzou nightclub. Patrons were seen being viciously attacked, stripped naked, and subjected to inhumane treatment by individuals believed to be the club security personnel. I don't know, I'm laughing, this is not funny. Because the severity of these videos has ignited widespread outrage and a call for immediate action. And then surprisingly, the South African police force, or as I like to call it, the sometimes arrive possibly solve force, jump into the party. Yippee! They announce a manhunt for the 8 suspects involved in this nightclub nightmare. Gauteng Provincial Police Commissioner Tommy Mtombeni calls the incident inhumane, barbaric, and unacceptable. No shit, Tommy. That's like calling load shedding a minor inconvenience, like what they always say it is. The SAPS has a reputation that's shakier than a jelly in a hurricane. Corruption, incompetence, and a general lack of accountability make them about as reliable as a weather forecast in the SABC. In the Zanzou case, a nagging suspicion that some officers might be more interested in lining their pockets than serving justice is very evident. After all, why work hard if you can just have a criminal to pay you off? Let's be real. The South African police force manhunt is as reassuring as a chocolate teapot. Remember when they launched a manhunt for that guy who stole a chicken in Limpopo? Yeah, neither do we. So will anyone actually face the music for this debacle? Given South Africa's track record, it's more likely that Eskom will keep the lights on for a week. It's actually more likely for Somizi to come out as a straight man again than for anyone to be held accountable in such a case. Tell me if I'm lying. Our justice system moves slower than a sloth on tranquilizers, and with corruption greasing on the wheels, the chances of real consequences are slimmer than a supermodel on a juice cleanse. While the incident is trending and everyone's up in arms, behind the scenes, it's probably business as usual. Bribes are being exchanged as we speak, evidence mysteriously vanishes, and before you know it, the entire thing is forgotten and swept under a rug like last night's leftovers in your house. Now, Zanzou's management isn't about to take this with a cup of tea, because they've got a story wilder than a soapy plot twist in Uzalo. They claim the security staff involved have been sacked, and that the entire fiasco wasn't about patrons dodging the bills at all. Instead, they point fingers at some bloke named Mr. Herb, accusing him of trying to extort the club and by threatening to leak the videos unless they coughed up some cash. Sure, because when you're caught with your pants down, literally, the best defense is a good offense, chess style. Not to be outdone, the EFF jump into the party, demanding the immediate arrest of the club's owner, Stefan Cohen, and calling for Zanzou to be shut down faster than a dodgy Shisanyama during a health inspection. Now, Unkululego Dunga, the EFF's Gauteng chairperson, says such abhorrent behavior cannot be tolerated in a society that prides itself on upholding human dignity and justice. Meanwhile, the advocacy group Not In My Name is fuming too, calling for swift justice and systemic changes to prevent such horror shows in the future, as if anything's gonna happen. Because nothing says we mean business like a strongly worded press release, am I right? So what happened next? Well, you wanna guess? The whole country freaked out. Twitter went wild. Politicians condemned it. Blah, blah, blah. They gave the usual chat GPT speeches about how justice will be served while secretly doing absolutely nothing. Gauteng police? Oh, we are launching an investigation. Yeah, sure, man. Just like how you launched every other investigation on every scandal before sweeping it under the rug. We know exactly how this is going to play out. Number one, they're going to arrest a few nobodies, probably the janitor, the waiter, and some unlucky Uber driver who happened to be in the parking lot that night. Number two, the real criminals will pull out their giant wallets, bribes will start flying. Suddenly, evidence disappears faster than your data after watching a TikTok video. Three, in 2 months, nobody talks about it anymore. It's going to disappear like the lady who was found hanging on a tree while pregnant. Let's be honest, this country is not run by law enforcement. You have to be as dumb as Rigby from Regular Show to think it is. It's run by those who have the most money, the best connections, and the ability to make people disappear. Or at least make the cases disappear. The people who own the places like the Zanzou Nightclub, oh, they've got all 3 points I just told you. You think these club owners are scared? Bro, they are laughing at me and you right now. While we're busy making hashtags and trending, they are sitting in their mansions, drinking 15-year-old whiskey and bribing the same cops we are begging for help, who appear in the press conferences. This is South Africa. If you're not rich enough, you can't get away with anything. Politician steals millions, no jail time. Taxi boss orders a hit, nothing happens. Celeb gets caught with drugs, media silence. You, a regular guy down the street, steals a loaf of bread, life sentence. Trust me. You wanna try? We pretend we have a system, but it's all for show, really. Like that one security guard who stands outside Checkers but wouldn't stop a fly from shoplifting. The police? Just as useless. They show up after the crime and take notes like it's a school project. It's ridiculous. This is baffling. The courts are also a joke because if you don't have cash, your case moves at the speed of load shedding. Trust me. The politicians, corrupt as ever. They'll scream justice in front of the cameras but shake hands with the criminals with their other hand behind the scenes. Let me tell you something right now to put you on game. No one in power cares about justice. Tell me if I'm telling lies. The Zanzou owners, the rich criminals, all of them, the connected elites, they're all immune to these consequences. They're not on the same level as you. If you or I did 10% of what happened at Zanzou, we'd be in jail in seconds and eating dry pap for the next 30 years. These guys, they'll apologize, maybe close the club for 2 weeks, and then after a few months, open it under a new name and keep making millions. So here's what I say should happen, but it's not because, let's face it, we're in South Africa. What should happen is that the entire club should shut down permanently. No rebranding, no renovations, just banned. The real criminals, the bosses behind it, should be dragged to jail. Dragged to jail, not just some random security guards or an Uber driver that happened to be there. The cops who take bribes should be exposed. But we all know that's never gonna happen because half of them are already on someone else's payroll. Even if by some miracle the case makes it to court, don't hold your breath. Legal proceedings in South Africa are notorious for dragging on longer than a telenovela. By the time a verdict is reached, we'll probably have flying cars and robots doing the Macarena. And what about the poor souls who endured this nightmare? They are left traumatized, humiliated, and with the deep distrust of a system that's supposed to protect them. While officials and activists play their games, the victims are left picking up the pieces, wondering if they'll ever see justice served like in a Bollywood series that lasts for 6 months. The Zanzou Nightclub scandal isn't just a blight on Pretoria's nightlife, it's just another glaring example on the systemic failures that plague this country. From the corrupt cops to sluggish judiciary, the odds are stacked against justice. So while you're busy putting hashtags and trending on outrage, remember, in the Rainbow Nation, justice is often a mirage, just like in the Kalahari Desert. South Africa loves a trending outrage, but we forget faster than goldfish. Today it's Zanza. Next week, it's going to be another pregnant woman found hanging on a tree. And then the next week, some leaked video of a child getting abused in their kindergarten class. And then the next week, something else. You get the idea. And while we're busy twitting and moving on, the criminals are out there winning the game. You want justice? There's none. Just power, corruption, and money. And families that own the shops you go to. And if you don't have those, you're absolutely nothing. Welcome to reality.